Nobodies.
I gotta stop getting too drunk. Have you ever listened to the end of my podcast?
I've just seen clips.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
It's a little upsetting because I think that album is one of the greatest albums. And you're eating flies. No.
Yes.
It's one of the greatest. It's one of the greatest.
And now you're eating flies.
Never mind. I know what happened. Logan Paul texted him and said, you know LoganUl? Mm-hmm. Okay, he texted him and said, hey.
Yeah, I was just hanging out last night.
Okay, go. He said, hey, I want to jump out of your helicopter.
Preparation is mass, not prostitution, procrastination.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Something like that. Too much preparation is procrastination.
Right.
Bad news is it didn't work. Good news is we get to kick it again.
Yeah, let's get shocked.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Dude, shocked on this Budweiser Zero.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Are we rolling?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, there's not really any starter.
Oh, okay.
Justin Evans.
What's up, brother?
Dude, oh
Good to see
man.
you.
I know.
I'm very.
What was the last time we kicked it? Was
about a year ago
at the Shed.
Yeah.
Which has become one of my favorite spots in Boise.
Really? That was my first time there. It was great.
The food is so good. It's just pub food.
Right.
It's just that environment.
Right. Cool.
Yeah, I really like it.
Let's check it out.
Yeah, man.
Full circle. My first time meeting you officially was when we worked together in that basement. Mm-hmm. That sounds super sketchy.
It does sound sketchy.
Yeah, what we were doing
and
wasn't
my bedroom was right next to it.
It was. Oh, I know. Yeah. Just kidding.
You're like, why is he late to work? Oh, here.
Yeah, that was a good time, man. Good time. What are you doing for work now?
I'm doing video mainly, photo video. So I was, I quit the bar. I was working at Rudy's Pub.
Yeah.
Have you ever been out there?
No, you told me about it. But.
Yeah, so that place is dope. I met a lot of my good friends there, and they always treated me really well. Made good money there, and then when I picked up the camera, I was slowly but surely figuring that stuff out. And then at some point last year, I was just like, I just need to go for it.
Yes, burn the ships.
And I was gonna wait a while longer. I was like, maybe I should pay out some debt first, or get ready a little more. And then it's just one of those things. Preparation can be confused. What do they say? Preparation is masks, not prostitution, procrastination.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Something like that. Too much preparation is procrastination.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Right. No, you just have to go for it because it's never going to be right enough. And like you, I believe I am my plan B.
Yeah.
I don't come from money.
Yeah.
I don't have, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I was born in great circumstances.
Yeah.
But just get it.
The only silver spoon we had is the one that we just kidding. We never did that. We did I do remember putting sugar in spoons and lighting it and making candy.
Oh, that's fun.
And I don't know who picked that up, but I was like, did somebody watch something else? And they're like,
oh yeah. Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, we pour it out on wax paper and just be this
caramelized sugar kind of. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
We did a lot of weird things growing up, but yeah, I didn't come from money, but when I'm the richest one in my family, I'll be stoked.
Well, I'm excited for you, and I'm excited that you have this podcast and that you're doing your video work, and it's all about getting started. It doesn't have to look pretty. You just go.
Yeah.
Go, and you're gonna be a huge success.
Yeah. So thank you. You're doing a podcast now.
Yeah, I just started it.
How many episodes are you in?
Probably 10
or
so. And I'm getting guests that I have no business talking to because I'm leveraging success from
I noticed. Not that you don't have any business, but I looked at some of your guests, I was like, what?
No, it's the honest truth. I'm leveraging the success of what I did previously and saying, hey, here's my stats. I started a new thing. You want to come on? And it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. And ultimately, I feel like I hacked the matrix in that I'm getting free coaching from these people that I can't afford. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
So I'm offering them content in clips.
Right.
And hopefully they get something out of our conversation too, but ultimately I'm offering them content via the clips and the long form, help get their brand out there. They reshare the clips. It gives them some street cred in a sense, in a very small sense. And it's just working and it's snowballing. It's insane. Like one of the guys charges $1,000 an hour for a consult.
For coaching?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not there. I can't do that right now.
Right.
He'll come on my podcast for free.
Yeah. And then you're giving him content.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty smart. I don't think that anyone that I've had on so far charges any money for their time yet. So
Sure.
But it's still fun. But I think that I told myself after 20 I would start reaching out, and I've just been busy and I haven't.
Right.
But I'm at that point where I'm like, my quality's good.
Yes.
And I don't have the street cred from past things, but I still have the quality of the podcast. So now I want to start asking people that are levels above me.
Right.
And this is one of the things I wanted to run by you, but you know Tom Bilyeu, or you work with him in some. You know who he is.
Who?
Tom Bilyeu, Impact Theory.
Oh yeah.
So
we made their thumbnails forever.
Yeah. So that was like, I was like, what?
Yeah.
But so he was on a podcast explaining how he started, and he said he won with having better quality than anybody else, and then he just started asking people slightly above him.
Yes.
And then a year or two later, he's having Gary Vee and all these other big people on.
Right.
And it was kind of how I jumped up.
So that's the difference between, and for people watching and listening, I started a vlog in 2010 called Our Little Planet, right?
I was on that.
Yeah, it was so fun. And we did car vlogs. This is before Seinfeld's Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee or James Corden's Carpool Karaoke. It was just me and my family telling jokes back and forth. And we did that every day for 3 years and got nowhere.
That's crazy that you just kept doing it still.
Well, we started a second channel as well and did that almost every day for 3 years as well. And we got nowhere. And every family trip we planned was to collab or do meetups with viewers and stuff. We got nowhere. And then one day, like, that's a lot of work, man. It takes a certain kind of crazy to do that. And then one day, feeling defeated, I was like, man, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to create content for a living. Not just for money, but freedom and flexibility. And so I looked around the house and I saw my kids' Paw Patrol toys, a Paw Patrol chair, Disney princess stuff, and I started filming videos using those things.
Yeah.
I was broke, man, like financially, maybe otherwise too. Like, I was so frustrated. I hated my job, wanted to way out. 6 months after shooting that first Epic Toy Channel video, that's what the channel's called, I was able to quit my job.
That's wild.
So the difference between Our Little Planet and Epic Toy Channel, it's the same family, right?
Right.
Is the metadata.
Huh.
So when I had, I forgot his name. You'll have to edit this part out. What's his name? Keaton Hoskins. When I had Keaton Hoskins on my podcast.
I know him.
He's on the Diesel Brothers show on Discovery.
Okay.
Or Evan Carmichael. Huge.
Yeah, I saw that guy.
Yeah, he's awesome, amazing. Not only do they provide great content, but their name in the title, that's the equivalent of like Nerf on Epic Toy Channel.
Okay.
Or Paw Patrol. Or Avengers.
Yeah.
Those keywords attached to their content, attached to their viewers' content, attached to related channels.
Yeah.
And that's how we were able to grow Epic Toy Channel to that place. And that's what, like, Our Little Planet, super awesome. But, I'm not Casey Neistat.
Right.
Right? With great cinematography.
Yeah.
So you got to get them with some angle.
Right.
Hard work isn't just all it takes. You need an angle. And that's kind of my strategy right now is talking to these people who, A, I need to talk to, I'm interested in, but two, get that metadata.
Yeah. Huh. I always just saw you guys, or you were homies with half these guys. I'm like, yeah, he knows a lot of big YouTubers because he's a YouTuber, but...
I know some. I mean, Evan Carmichael I met at an event years ago, and so
Yeah.
I pulled a favor and said, hey, you want to be on? But ultimately, most of them I don't know
Yeah.
at all. And I've gotten a ton of no's, and I've been ignored a lot, but just putting yourself out there, man.
Yeah. What would you say if you're reaching out to 20 people you don't know, are you getting 1 out of 20 or?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
It's not actually that bad.
No, and it's just an email.
Yeah.
That's all it is, or a DM.
That makes a lot of sense because, my idea was, I guess it still is something similar to, reach out to people that are slowly but surely bigger than me, and then those people are sharing clips,
Right.
and then going from there, and then just as you grow, now you have more street cred.
Totally.
But I never really thought about the actual data of Meta.
Right.
You know, they called metadata before it turned Meta, right?
Are you talking about the Facebook company?
Yeah.
They called it metadata?
Well, they had the word metadata, but now
Yeah.
that Facebook owns anything, it's literally metadata.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, that
I've said a joke. I was like, there's something I'm not informed about.
Yeah, it's just meta.
Yeah. That's funny.
I remember explaining what meta meant to somebody like before Facebook was that.
Yeah.
When it's like when you're having a conversation and it's like a joke in a joke or a situation in a situation, we're like, oh, that's so meta.
Right.
It's like something 15 years ago.
Right. Very much so.
No.
But in content creation, your metadata is your thumbnail, your title, your description, and your tags.
Right.
And so having those, if I were just to make a video about, if I title a video "Beautiful Homes,"
Right.
no one's going to watch it. But if I say "Beautiful Homes in Boise, Idaho," people in Boise, Idaho are going to find it.
Sure.
If I play with, Paw Patrol, little dog to it,
only because of you.
Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. But if I'm making a video about Paw Patrol, I'm going to title it Paw Patrol Adventure, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to hit, but Puppy Toys Adventure isn't going to hit because you need those keywords, those teeth.
Because that's what's the Paw Patrols was trending among the youth.
Yeah. Just a random real life example for me. I mean, the
Right.
audience probably isn't into Paw Patrol. But.
Yeah, I don't know if they are yet. Well, weren't you telling me too, or maybe I think actually I was watching one of your clips and you were talking to a girl and you're like, what do I do when my audience like grows out of that product? How
Right.
do I switch to a new product? Do we go after a new audience? Yeah,
Right.
I forget exactly where you guys.
No, because we started Epic Toy Channel in 2014, and the kid who was 5 in 2014 is not 5 in 2023.
Unless he's on South Park.
Yeah, well,
They never age.
He might be. So that is a problem. And the other problem with kid content is in 2020, Congress enacted or enforced a law called COPPA, Children Online Privacy Protection Act.
Okay.
So this is what it is. So if you're searching for cameras on Google or YouTube, you're going to start seeing camera ads, right? Or if you're watching videos about cameras and how to use them, you're going to start being recommended those. Well, Congress or the lobbyists said that was invading children's privacy.
Okay.
So instead of kids getting targeted ads for the things they're into and the videos that they like, they're getting ads for pharmaceuticals and horror films and maybe the random Nerf blaster or something, but of paintings and plants and stuff that kids aren't interested in.
Right.
So we took a 90% pay cut in 2020.
Oh.
So I say that because like if anyone wants to be a content creator, avoid kid content at all costs.
Yeah, well, you know me, so I pretty much have to.
Right.
Man, well, I did, so there's you click yes, it's for kids, or no, it's not for kids. And I did see that when you hit no, it's not for kids, you don't even get paid ads on it, or that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, you'll get pennies.
Yeah.
You'll get pennies. And thankfully we're on Apple TV and Roku as well, so that helps. But thank goodness we had customthumbnails.com in that time, or we were screwed. Yeah,
because I just thought that I had to click not for kids because I cuss in every episode or whatever.
Right.
But okay.
Yeah, if it's for kids 13 or under, then you'll get pennies.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, there's this interesting thing that I listened. Do you know who Alex Hormozy is?
Yeah.
So just discovered him.
Yeah.
And but one of the things he was saying was he's like, I worked for 5 years building all this stuff, and I never could make money. Like, it was all going back to the businesses.
Right.
I had multiple, but I just felt like I was still broke the whole time.
Yeah.
And on the outside, he's like, everyone thought I was successful. And he had this multi-million-dollar business here or there, but it was still like he'd not taken anything home really.
Right.
And then he said something about how he lost everything. And he's like, I've just wasted the last 5 years because he lost all the assets. But within a year, he was able to like blast off, and he realized it was the knowledge that he gained that he no one can take from you.
Interesting.
And so that's what even for you have the knowledge of what it takes. Now you know the metadata thing, some of those people.
Yeah.
And now you're able to move quicker than say somebody like me, because I don't have 10 years of building on.
Well, that's the thing is in that moment where I was like, Our Little Planet was a failure. No, that was the education.
Yeah.
Epic Toy Channel, we got a huge pay cut. Is that a failure? Nah, man.
Yeah.
It's not. And so I think if I think about it in that sense, there are no failures unless you quit.
Yeah.
If you quit, then
Yeah, they say
never mind.
if you like, you should learn from all those failures, or what is that saying? You learn, or you either win or you learn.
There
if you
you go.
look at it that way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then if you're not gonna if you're already winning and then you don't fail next time, it's because you're not taking more risks.
Right.
And then if you're not taking more risks, you're probably not growing, getting to the next level of some sort.
Right. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, because I don't know how long it'll take me to get this thing to where it's self-sustaining, where I can pay my bills from it. I was, when I started, I was like, maybe 3 years, maybe 5 years. I'm like, am I committed?
Right.
And I mean, it's fucking hard.
Right.
People are just like, this is what I thought. Oh, just turn the camera on,
Yeah.
go in there. They're like, dude, it's so much time editing.
Yes.
And especially if you want to do the clips and stuff.
Yes.
And I met quite a few people recently that have podcasts, but they don't do video. They're like, it's way too much.
Yeah, I can't. Video is so powerful. Mm-hmm. I would have a hard time doing a podcast without video, especially since we can share clips on Instagram and TikTok and
That's
YouTube
why
Shorts.
that's my main reason for having it. Also, it helps me learn video.
Nice.
So I feel like my trajectory was faster learning the camera to do other video work.
Right.
Because I'm constantly doing this. But yeah, you can. How are you gonna share a clip when it's just a little
Just
audio
audio.
signal? Or
Yeah. No, totally. And one of the reasons I do mine on Zoom, or not necessarily Zoom, but on my computer, is I don't have the money right now to fly to people or fly people in, so I can reach a global, potential guest pool. But I'll tell you, I was just Evan Carmichael just messaged me, and he's like, "Hey, I want you to fly to Canada and do my show with me."
No way.
So I'm going in December. Yeah.
Where in Canada is he?
Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been to. This will be my second time in Toronto. This is the funniest thing. I thought about this today. My first time in Toronto was 5.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Spin Master, the company who makes Paw Patrol. Right?
Okay.
Back to Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
They hired me.
I knew we were gonna talk about that.
Yeah, right. They hired me to talk to their marketing team
Okay.
in Toronto and LA. Like, what are my qualifications?
Yeah. Well, they need. I mean, obviously, they need you from videos and stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Of course. Yeah. They see me play with their toys
Yeah.
online, but it is such a cool time to be alive.
Yeah.
To have someone like Spin Master hire me to talk about marketing,
Yeah.
Evan Carmichael invite me to Toronto, all because one day I thought, oh, I'd like to be a content creator.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit, Josh. I'm so excited for you, man.
Yeah.
I just wrote a book. It'll be out in January.
Oh yeah, you said that.
Yeah,
What's
it's
it
called-
about? Is it about Paw Patrol?
It's only about Paw Patrol. Yeah, it's fan fiction about Paw
Nice.
Patrol not saving the day. They just ruin everything.
Oh man.
It's called How to Achieve Anything. And I believe that you can achieve anything if your heart and mind meet. Example. Let's say I want to be a ballerina. Let's say my mind says, Justin, the ballerina life is where it's at. You can be influential. You'll make a lot of money. You'll be in excellent shape, right? But my heart's like, that doesn't make sense. Like, don't do that. That you don't have the body type or skill set, or you don't want to do that. My heart and mind don't meet. So how to achieve anything? No, I'm not going to do that because there's
Yeah.
no connection, right? You want to be a podcaster? Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
You're putting in the steps. You have all the great equipment. You have contacts. You have great lighting and everything. You can totally do that, but you got to find the recipe and the routine and the blueprint behind it.
Yeah.
So the book's just about really empowering myself and other people on no, go for it. Burn
Yeah.
the ships. Just go. Do it.
Yeah. I mean, did you release it yet, or you just wrote it so
January.
far?
January, yeah.
Are you gonna do the audio?
I've thought about it. I've looked at hiring people to do it. It's just so expensive, man.
Yeah.
So I've thought about doing. I cloned my voice with AI to see if that would work. It sounds a little cheesy. So
You should do it.
Yeah.
Have me record it.
oh, thank you, man. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Because you'll hear the audio from this, but it's pretty good setup for that.
Yeah.
Getting rid of all that background noise and just
Yeah.
having a comfortable environment where you can just
Dude, that would
read
be
it
really
out.
cool. I'll probably take you up on that.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, thank you. It's certainly it's not I don't know. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big deal to write a book.
No, it's not. Let me tell you why. This is so exciting, Josh.
Did you have AI do it?
No. Actually, I'll talk about that. But it took me 4 or 5 days.
Whoa.
Here's what I did, man, and I hope you do this. I would go on walks a couple times a day, and I'd open Gmail and just talk into my phone.
Okay.
Okay? That's a chapter. Each walk, that's a chapter. Then I'd go home and polish it up a little bit. And then I hired an editor to not make me sound like a caveman.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's how I did it.
So,
it's so within reach.
Yeah, okay. Because I do want to write a book at some point. I did decide that if I ever write a book, I should start doing more journaling or some sort, whether it's vocal or... when I started doing the video, I was doing a video journal, but I stopped after a month because I was just doing all this other stuff. But and that's an excuse. It's
totally
me being lazy.
No, well, I've sat down and tried to type so many books.
Yeah.
No, man, I don't communicate that way.
Yeah.
I communicate with my mouth part.
Yeah.
You know?
That's interesting. I would like to at some point. I have no idea what I would write it yet, but I still have a lot of experience to
yeah.
to live.
Yeah. No, totally. Well, you could write about your faith transition or detransition. There's all sorts of
My
things.
transition.
Yeah, there you go. Either way, man. That's super exciting. But yeah, it took 4 or 5 days, and it's going to be self-published on Amazon. But there's so many bestsellers. Not saying it's going to be a bestseller, but there's so many bestsellers that are self-published.
Yeah. There's my niece, I think my oldest niece, Elena, she's the oldest. She's an author, and she's been writing since she was a kid, 7 or whatever. And so she published her first book when she was 14. It's animal fantasy. Whoa. And then I think she's about to release her second one.
No way.
But I mean, speaking of you can do anything, I truly believe you can too. And it's like you just have to find what you really want to do and then not quit. Don't quit. Just keep going. Keep going,
man. Keep going.
And it's like the 10,000 hour rule. You got to put in the time. You develop a skill set. Yeah. And then you meet the people. You just keep stepping stones. And
Totally. Yeah, we with CustomThumbnails.com. It's the graphic design agency we started to make thumbnails for YouTubers, right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing about that is we bought that domain for $10.
That's wild.
In 2018. Yeah. Because, custom thumbnails is the phrase used by YouTube, Amazon, Vimeo, Patreon. Everyone uses that word, and we bought it for $10. The reason I say that is not to brag that I had $10 to spend. But
that is impressive.
But to say, people think that these things are oversaturated. They're not. If in 2018 I could buy that domain for $10, there's so much opportunity.
Yeah. That's speaking of, that's one of those things I feel that people will tell themselves to not do something. Yeah. So, I remember getting into, when I first decided to pick up the camera, and they're like, there's so many photographers out there. Yeah. Why would I do this? And so I hesitated for a couple of years because I'm just like, there's all these other photographers out there, and they're not making that much money, so it's oversaturated. Yeah. And then my buddy Luke convinces me, he's like, dude, and he was showing me how much money he makes. I'm like, what? Nobody.
Seriously? And what does he photograph?
He does video now for business.
Okay, cool.
But he one of his turning points was realizing, he's like, there's no money in doing creative video for a band or something. Sure. It's not that there's not, but there's less there. And he's like, all the creatives were ignoring businesses that need help and stuff. So he's like, I just focused my attention there and just started skyrocketing. Amazing. And so he's built a big media company in Kingston, actually, so just north of Toronto.
Oh, cool.
And so I don't know exactly what level it is at now, but last time I went up, which was 2 or 3 years ago, 2 years, they just rent out a 5,000 square foot office space. He has 5 people working for him, filming full time, and
no way.
Bought his Lambo.
Did he?
Just all from a camera,
Yeah.
So, and then same with podcasts. It's everybody's doing podcasts, and that's even what Tom Billy said years ago. They're like, it's already saturated. It's no, it's not. That's just the excuse that we tell ourselves.
Well, and there's some statistic out there, 90% of people that start a podcast don't get past episode 20 or something like that. So, yeah, a lot of people have started them.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I think I've heard 90% don't get past 7, and of those 10% they don't get past 20. But these are probably all just rumored statistics.
Sure. But it makes sense though, because it's not easy. And it's so easy to get discouraged.
Yeah.
And but what other option do you have? Like, what's better than the potential of having a full-time podcast?
Yeah.
What's better to you than that?
Dude,
Is there anything?
That is very up there.
So like, go and do it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
How do you? So this is something that I have struggled with this year. This year is one of my hardest years because there's just so much frustration and so much learning, and I feel like if I learn too much, it just hurts. It's like growing me. I'm like, my head's like gonna explode, you know. And then I fuck off too much sometimes, and I'm really learning to buckle down and work on more aggressively. But you said that you went 3 years with no success and another 3 years with no success. I'm like, man, I went 3 months and I was already like, fuck, dude, maybe I fucked up, you know? So how do you just keep going through that? You just...
Well, like you, this is one of my hardest years too.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So it's a matter of how bad do I want it?
Yeah.
You know, with back in the day when we were doing that car vlog, like I hated my job so much, but I loved the idea of doing that full time so much more.
Yeah.
So I focused on that.
Yeah.
You know, now with this podcast, I'm very busy with my work stuff,
Right.
you know, but with my podcast, I feel like I get paid doing it because I really enjoy the people that I talk to.
Yeah.
And I've never left one feeling low or dissatisfied.
Sure.
I felt like I had to just grind and make stuff happen.
Yeah.
So I think, so that's my pay right now, and that's how I'm getting through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are making some money off the podcast? Or
No, I
off...
get the emotional pay.
Oh,
or I
got
get
you.
the psychological pay.
Yeah.
That's my reward for now. And maybe one day it'll be different.
Yeah, I was curious. I mean, people have asked me, like, how are you going to make money on it? And I'm only speculating, but I'm like, well, if you grow the podcast big enough, you have advertisers on the podcast. Then if you grow your YouTube big enough off that, you have advertisers on that. Also, TikTok pays if you have clips that go viral. So does Facebook. And I've made some money. I mean, it's really low, but I had one video and I made like $100. And I was just like, but I was like, ooh, this is my first taste. It is possible. And
it's
then
absolutely possible.
Yeah. And that I've learned some of that from photographers and stuff, because they'll talk about how if you post on all these platforms, you're like, oh, I made 10,000 here last month, but then I made 20 over here at TikTok, and then I made this much from my work, and then this much from commissions on license. So it just like all collects over time.
It does, and like Epic Toy Channel, for example, right now because of that change that happened in 2020. We make more money on that channel on Roku and Apple TV than we do YouTube.
Okay.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
Right? But your biggest money is going to be the long form stuff. So YouTube, some people are posting to Rumble. Mine's on Rumble as well.
I just started.
Oh, cool.
I do the full thing.
Yeah, same.
Do you do, so I saw you do the clips, but do you do like 3 or 4 minute videos out of your...
I want to. I don't right
See,
now.
that's what I'm missing that.
Yeah, I want to. And I have my shorts on a different channel than my main channel on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because I've seen with our clients that your long form will do well, and then you post a short and it kind of cannibalizes the long form.
Yeah.
So, but then Spotify.
Yeah. Do you run ads on Spotify?
I don't think I'm qualified yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I am. I just figured I wasn't gonna even try till I got some sort of consistent following.
Totally. Well, the brand deals. I mean, there's huge money in brand deals.
Yeah.
You know, if for product endorsements, sponsorships, I mean, that's big money. And speaking of YouTube, I have a client who makes $250,000 a month on his YouTube revenue.
Damn.
I have many clients who make, 10,000 plus a month.
Yeah.
Doing stuff. I had this client years ago. He had a channel where it was all about fish tanks. He would live stream fish tanks.
Yeah.
People would put those videos up in their waiting room, or if a kid was taking a nap, they'd put it on.
Yeah.
He was making bank.
What?
I know.
That's actually a good idea.
It's a great idea.
I just went to Austin 2 months ago. Not Jess, but no, it wasn't Austin. It was Portland because we.
Wait, where did I go? And when did I go there?
we were coming back from Vancouver, and we stopped in Portland to get some food and stuff, and then we went to the coast. But they have some bars that have these beautiful fish tanks, and I was like, oh yeah, like I would rather come here and just stare at fish while I'm drinking than not. So that makes sense.
Sure.
Let's take a break. I want to check this and make sure it's not a. I went on like a terrible bender last weekend because I went to this conference, and this conference was awesome. But when we got back, we just started drinking, and I was super jazzed. So this is one of the things I do that is terrible. But I'm actually been listening to this Huberman podcast about making goals. And he was saying that it's counterintuitive to what the narrative is, but when you make a goal, you actually shouldn't tell everybody. And broadcast it out, because then when you get people's praise for you deciding you're gonna go do this thing, you already have this dopamine release, but you haven't done anything. Yeah. So he was saying you should actually not tell anyone except maybe one person to hold you accountable, but then don't congratulate yourself until you get something accomplished towards that goal. And I noticed that exact thing like this weekend where I'm coming back high off this conference. I'm just like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then we just start drinking. And then I'm hungover on Sunday, drink all day Sunday. And it turned into like this 3-day bender. And I was so sick yesterday. I was and I had so much work to do. Right. So I was still like trying to edit and stuff.
Sure. But wanting to die in the process.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So all the good energy you had from the conference kind of went.
Yeah. So now
let's go back to the conference.
I'm still in recovery mode, but I'm like, all right, now you got it. Cause I wrote down a bunch of notes. I'm like, oh, this is a good plan. I'm going to do this.
Cool.
And one of the things I wanted to run this by you, actually speaking of the conference. So, I was like, I'd already decided this a couple weeks ago, but I'm getting to this point, I'm just like, I gotta make moves. Like, it's now or never, like I'm broke. And so I was like, why don't I just give away some real estate videos for free for like high-end listings? And then once I just realized how much this is going to help with networking, and then I got to this church that runs this conference, and they're all like, they have their church, and then they have this separate entrepreneurial group called Pathfinders, and they meet once a month. They have mentorship programs, they do conferences, and it's just like teaching you how to do different things, just like a regular seminar, like business seminar, but just run through this church. But so I was just like, well, why don't I just offer to do video podcasting? Because there was 2 different couples that I met that were amazingly successful already. I go to check out their podcast, audio only, and I was just like, dude, I don't think so. That, like you were saying, there's still a wide open market. I'm like, they're not putting video for what reason? Because it's too much work, or because they don't know anybody who can show them, or can help them. Right. But I mean, they're all massively successful. Like, so I'm just gonna offer those services for free. Like, let me just do 1 or 2 for you. Like, see how it is.
Yeah, give you a taste.
Yeah.
No, I think it's in some ways counterintuitive to old school thinking, but that's the future. When Keaton Hoskins was on my podcast, I'll tell the story real briefly. He has a helicopter. He lives in Utah, has a helicopter. Logan Paul texted him and said, you know Logan Paul? Okay, he texted him and said, hey.
Yeah, I was just hanging out last night.
Okay, good. He said, hey, I want to jump out of your helicopter. I think he's trying to certify or something. So he needs so many jumps. And so Keaton's like, yeah, come on down. So Keaton paid I think it's $1,400 an hour to fly this helicopter. Paid for that. And then afterwards, he's like, hey, Logan, what are you doing after this? And he said, well, I'm going to wait in the hotel for my flight, and then I'll go home. He said, no, listen, I've got to do something with my family, but I'm going to have my doctor go to my house. You meet him there, and he's going to give you stem cell therapy. Because I think he has an injury or whatever. He paid for that. Paid for that whole thing. Exactly what you're talking about. And then afterwards, according to the story, Logan texted Keaton afterwards, and he's like, dude, everyone asks me for things.
Yeah.
You're one of the first to just give and ask for nothing in return.
Yeah.
And so what did I do? When Keaton's on my podcast, I'm like, hey, I want to talk to your channel manager. I want to take care of your thumbnails on the house.
Yeah.
Because at first I'm like, I don't have a helicopter. I can't do anything for anyone. But
Right.
no, man, you can make real estate videos.
Yeah, and I don't have the money or the helicopter, but I have time and I have a skill set. Yeah, and I have a camera and you don't,
Right.
so.
And set boundaries like, hey, I'm going to do these 2 for you for free.
Yeah.
And then have a pricing plan for after those.
Yeah.
But I think that's everything.
Well, and for me, I wouldn't if this is where I'm but literally don't ask for anything. And so I just let me do a couple for you. And then that's it, and then if you like it, you can ask me. But
Totally.
I've just noticed that even just showing people stuff, they're like, oh, do you think you could help me with this? I'm like, yeah. And I don't know how long I can do too many things for free, but sometimes I'll offer a thing for free, no, I'm paying you, and so I've had that happen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's just a matter of time, and then you meet the right people. And I already have the philosophy, I have it on my vision board, which I was proud of myself for finally making a vision board last year.
Nice.
But right at the center is give more.
Love it.
So it's just no matter, if I get paid for this is what I told you I was going to give you, always provide extra.
Yes.
When it was photos, it was just give them a few extra photos or whatever. So
I love it.
yeah, I can't do a photo shoot for $50 forever, but I can always provide more value.
Well, and everyone wants to buy, no one wants to be sold, right?
Yeah.
They want to hire you, but they don't want the sales pitch. We're tired of the sales pitch, right?
Yeah, I was
Show me
never
what you
good at
can
that
do.
anyway.
Yeah, me too. Show me what you can do, provide
Yeah.
value, and then, I think that's awesome, man.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm pretty excited. I just filmed one today.
So high-end, real, like a house.
Yeah, so my goal was at least $1 million plus houses.
3% commission on that, they have a lot to gain if they sell that.
Right. So you have. I'm just again shocked that half these people don't have video. I'm like, so this is crazy to me. And obviously they're professionals, or they know more than I do.
Sure.
But if I was selling my $2 million house, I would not choose a real estate agent who's not even going to buy a video,
that's
to
great.
advertise.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I was thinking about somehow because I will eventually just start marketing. I'm going to have 5, and then I'm going to start cold calling. And I feel like I could do this anywhere, not just in Boise.
Sure.
But a flight down to Scottsdale where my sister lives, I can stay there for free. I can get down there in $300 or something,
Right.
and I could probably double my rate down there.
Right.
But yeah, I've been noticing when I'm calling these people, I'm like, well, let me just show you my work, send it to your email, and then I'll say something in the email yeah, I've noticed that most of these high-end realtors still don't even pay for video, filming. And because to me, video is the new photo. That's bare minimum.
Oh, yeah.
You should have a video and be running a marketing campaign, or
Yeah.
And if it's a $2 million listing, that's $60,000 that you're
$60,000.
making. You can't spend two
Right.
running it.
Right.
I don't know.
Full circle, I just sent my fingerprints in for my real estate license.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Nice.
something I've been working on the side. Pretty
Oh
excited.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm super excited for you, man. And you know what the new business card is? That you said video is the new photo. The new business card is a book,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing about writing a book is it's cute, but an audio version, like you mentioned, is paramount because
Yeah.
I know how to read. I just don't want to.
Yeah, that's the only way I read is audiobooks.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is a huge percentage of the market.
I agree
Yeah.
completely.
And if you could write it in 4 days, you can at least record it in a day.
Sure. No, totally.
Yeah, I still don't have business cards. I've been wanting to do. I've been wanting to still make some quick and easy. I'm still working on my logo for Joshua David.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna do it similar to the Nobodies.
Yeah.
It'll look very similar, but have a JD somehow in it.
I love the name Nobodies. Where did you come up with that?
I don't remember. I think I was on some psychedelics, but no, I was just. The idea for the podcast hit me when I was had a period of my time, it was 3 or 4 years ago. I was having a lot of really good conversations. My friend group started getting, better and better over the years.
Yeah.
And I learned probably 4 or 5 years ago, but to start investing in my friends a lot more.
Yeah.
And I just hadn't been. I was just chasing girls all the time and,
Sure.
dicking off. And so I really wanted to start investing in my guy friends, and then we started having just more and more good conversations over the years.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're just ridiculous, sometimes they're whatever, and just thought about it a lot because I listened to a lot of podcasts and they were like, you know, Gary Vee or Tom Bilyeu, and they're all, you know, different ways to be successful. But at the time, it's just felt impossible. I'm like, yeah, you can do all these things, but you're a next caliber person, and what about the average people? And then I was just like, but there's still a lot to learn from just your average schmuck at the bar. Like, he says something insightful or something funny or whatever. So it's just like, man, we should just be recording these.
Yes.
And the more I thought about it, I was like, dude, it would be dope to have a podcast.
Yes.
And then, yeah, that's just what I was like. We're all nobodies. Like, nobody other than our friends.
Sure.
Nobody cares about us.
Sure. Well,
Not yet.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Gary Vee and Tom Bilyeu and all those other guys, they were nobodies.
Yeah.
They were, but they decided they could, so they did.
Well, and that's where I've thought about when it gets big.
Yeah.
I will be having people that they are somebody's now, but I really want to still focus on people that came from nothing. You know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's a lot different of a story than somebody who was born into it.
Yeah.
Not to say they're not important, but.
Sure. No, absolutely. I agree.
But yeah, I really like the name too.
It's awesome.
But yeah, I want to do a business card. I'd probably just put a QR code.
Smart.
And then I'd like to make bigger business cards for if I approach businesses. So I can slap it on their desk if it stands out a bit.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you another my ideas for it takes me way longer to do things than it should. But this is another one that Luke gave me when he moved to Windsor with him and his wife at the time, and they were flat broke, and she wanted to teach piano, and they didn't know anybody. And so he's just like, I hand wrote letters and just delivered them to like the biggest houses I could find on the lake. And he's like, I met a few billionaires, got some mentors. Now all of a sudden we're teaching their kids piano. We're like growing. I'm like, dude, why don't I do that? So yeah, and I can just put my little business card. And obviously people's time is valuable. So like, if you get a coffee with me, I'll give you some video for free and just you know what I can help you with.
Amazing.
We'll see how it goes.
It's gonna go well. I'm excited for you. Got to ask you about Fires in France.
Who was that?
It's a little upsetting because I think that album is one of the greatest albums. And you're eating flies now.
Yes.
It's one of the greatest. It's one of the greatest.
And now you're eating flies.
Never mind. I know what happened. Dude, what happened, dude? That's such a great album.
Thank you. We actually, I guess you probably never saw the second album because it never got released, but there was a few songs that were like close to being finished. And I was really stoked on it. We were recording it ourselves, and then it all hit. Well, it wasn't terrible. It's just I was kind of tired of like spinning my wheels, going nowhere. And God, I wish I knew more of like what I know now. Back then, it was like the commitment to just like playing a ton, but then learning the business and networking and all this stuff. But anyway, so we played our last show in Denver, and right after that, both Ukiah and Matt quit the band at the same time because Ukiah got a full-time drummer with Youth Lagoon, and Matt right then got full-time bass player at I forget the other band, but like some big names.
Yeah, huge.
And so Ukiah's like, I gotta go on tour, and Matt is too, and so I was just like, dude, I can't get 2 new members again. And Brock wanted to keep going, but I was burnt out. I was like, no, fuck this.
Yeah.
And but we had like a half-finished record, and we were trying to get people to track on it, and like Ukiah had done his parts, but then like Brock and Matt were being just like, oh yeah, and was bailing and stuff. Sorry, Brock.
He's not sorry.
Yeah. I'm trying to get Brock on the podcast. I don't see Ukiah too much or Matt, but I'd see Brock quite a bit.
That's awesome.
So,
man. If I were in a band now, I would really try to leverage TikTok and Instagram to have people use your clips for things. I think that's a solid way to grow. And I'm not an expert on that. I have no idea, but
I mean, you're an expert on growing social media platforms though.
So yeah, I mean, I would use that angle. And you talked about giving more, make the clips available to use, available to share, and make their.
There's a guy that I follow. His name's Abel Hart, and I'm trying to get him on the podcast, but I saw he just had his first one. But he does exactly that, where he creates these different little music videos, but it's just for his choruses. And he probably has 10 or 20 for the same chorus.
Right.
And then he'll blast that out, and then he'll do another track, and then he'll do some videos where he's just like, hey, if you like that song, will you just make a video with it?
Yeah.
And he's like, you could just be cooking dinner, but just put that, like, because the more people that put your song on their videos, the more traction it gets. And and he works with his best friend from high school on, like, so his best friend's doing the video and stuff, and then he's doing the songs and audio. Amazing. And they have some really good ideas. But so when I finished, so I am working on some music, but just not as much. But I'm working on a song with my buddy Ryan. I have a couple other ideas, but it's just like on the side. But that's what I would like to do. And then same for like some other friends of mine, like I don't know if you know Joseph Lyle. He's like a finger stylist. But I told him I'd do some video for him. And I was like, instead of doing a full music video, why don't we do 5 small ones?
Of the hook.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. I think it's pretty smart. And then I've been playing in Jeremy's band. I don't know if you know Jeremy either, but he lived with us at the house after we didn't have the business there anymore. Okay. But he's friends with Carrie back in the day.
Okay.
So I've been playing in his band a little bit. And then, yeah.
That's awesome, man. I'm happy to hear that you're still making music.
Yeah, we did, I haven't released it yet, but we played 2 Fires in France songs at his studio.
Oh,
just
no way.
me and him and this other kid,
Which songs?
Ty. Sing and Love Is Strong.
Dude.
So we'll see how those go. So, and it was like we did the podcast and then we just jammed for a bit. So that should be the next one I release.
So cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, that's crazy. There's not many people really know us, but it was a good time.
It was a great time.
Oh.
And when we did our little vlog thing, we enjoyed, we used a song or two.
Yeah, that's right.
Some videos. We did a giveaway.
Yeah.
That was fun.
There was one time, I was just telling somebody this yesterday, or 2 days ago, but there was one time where I was
so excited.
Hanging out downtown with Brock, and this was after Fires in France was done.
Yeah.
And I forget if we went to a show or something, but I'd taken some mushrooms. So I was like tripping, but like nothing crazy, but we're sitting at Pie Hole, and Brock's talking to somebody else, and then they somehow brought up like, oh yeah, something about the old band. And he's like, well yeah, I played in Fires in France. And he's like, you played in Fires in France? And he was talking to Brock, and he's like, yeah. And he's like, actually that's the lead singer right there. And this guy like freaks out. He's just like, holy shit. He's like, I remember you at the knitting factory, blah blah, and you were doing this. I was like, thanks man. And I was just like, whoa, this is a little intense.
Yeah.
My one time I got recognized anywhere.
That's so cool, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would have been intense, but plus you're on the mushrooms, and so it was like super.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't even know if I like this as much as I thought I would.
I kind of hate this. That's amazing.
That's the other thing I've always wondered if like some people say, like some people don't like to do the thing they really love to do full time because it burns them out, and then other people really do.
Right.
But I have wondered that because when we toured very minimally, I don't really love living out of a bag too much.
Sure.
I hate crashing on floors and people's couches. So I was like, what if we did tour 30 dates in the year? Like, would I have hated it and just be like, fuck this, you know? I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, if the end reward is great enough, maybe you could do it for a few years. Mm-hmm. But there's no guarantee. But here's the guarantee. Most people hate doing that. Yeah. I think most people hate what you hate about the experience. Right. But they're willing to push through.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and obviously, like we were talking about earlier, the landscape of opportunity has changed so much with like the internet. Yeah. And it's crazy. We had the internet when I played music, but it was just still not the same.
No, it was like MySpace was done long before that, but like that kind of time.
Right.
It's crazy.
But so you wouldn't have to tour at all. You could just play, you know, like who's that, the Redbeard dude that just blew up, country guy. Yeah. But like never even played shows, and
that's right.
Just pops off.
Yeah. I forget his name. Oliver.
Oh yeah, Oliver Anthony.
Oliver Anthony.
Yeah. And then he was on Joe Rogan and.
Right.
That's crazy. That's on my vision board. I have 2 photoshopped images. Well, there's other images, but 2 podcast ones of me sitting across from Gary Vee and me sitting across from Joe Rogan.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Look, for the most part, these things don't happen on accident, right?
Yeah.
They happen because you had a goal and you work towards that goal. And it might not happen next week, but if that's what you want, just keep going.
Yeah, I really doubt it'll happen next week, but
Well, I don't know.
never say never.
Never
but,
say never.
But yeah, so what, like, with your podcast, are you like, if you were to choose one to be like the main thing that you were doing, would it be podcasts? Would it be thumbnails? Would it be?
I enjoy all of it. I would say I don't know. I haven't thought about that. The thumbnail business came as a result of success on Epic Toy Channel, and I'm thankful that it's there and it's going well. I would enjoy probably podcasting, speaking, and writing books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be fun. Because you can do those things from anywhere.
Yeah.
And I can be 90 years old doing those things.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably not going to play sports anymore. Yeah, I've thought about that too, because I was writing this down for this application for this mentorship program. Yeah. And they're just talking about like, where do you see yourselves? Like, what are you going after? Yeah. And I realized it was like, well, there's not really a definition of success is not a rival. It's, yes, there's like the level, but then if you're not trying to push yourself in some way, like whether it's, like you try a new thing or something like that, like, or if you're not growing, if you just become stagnant, like then you just get, I don't know if it's lazy or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I want to grow my podcast to a certain point, and then I'm like, well, then what? But then that gives me more opportunity to meet with more people and sit in rooms and have more ideas and be like, oh, that would be so dope. Let's work on this. Yes. And I like that about, there was this Snoop Dogg podcast on Joe Rogan I listened to, and he was talking about how him and, what's the designer lady?
Martha Stewart?
Yeah, him and like how they're
like besties.
collabed.
Yeah.
And it all started when they were both on a roast of, I think, Justin Bieber or something, and they're just getting stoned together. And then they're like became kind of homies, and then that's where that idea came. Like, we should do a show together. Yeah. And now that show's like huge, or I don't know. I don't.
No, you're right. It's a journey, not a destination. I mean, had we said, "Oh, we have 2 million subscribers now and 1 billion views. This is it.
Yeah.
We're Toy Channel people," we'd be screwed. Mm-hmm. But we had an idea. CustomThumbnails.com. Oh, now here's a new idea. The book and the podcast. Another idea. I'm gonna get my real estate license. Like, I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I'm gonna be here for it. Yeah.
When you when you were doing the thumbnails, were you soaking up a lot of like Mr. Beast or that kind of education, and what taught you to be good at doing thumbnails?
Maybe not. Maybe some Mr. Beast, but other channels in the niche, right? Because a good podcast thumbnail, for example, isn't necessarily going to be a Mr. Beast style. Okay. So I would look at other kid and family channels to see what's working for them, what colors they're using, what works in that regard.
But I noticed when you gave me some advice on thumbnails, which hopefully I've been doing better, but
for sure.
But when you told me this, and then I was looking just at how my YouTube is, I'm like, this is what the people that are successful are doing. Like they're all structured that kind of same way. Right. So I'm like, yeah, if I want to compete, I have to be like just as bold, or
Yeah, no, totally. And people often ask us for Netflix style thumbnails for YouTube, and I'm like, no, like I'll do that if you want, but this is YouTube, not Netflix. Right. If I'm making something for Netflix, I want to make it look a certain way. Yeah. But this is YouTube. It needs to look a certain way.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And then I've recently started to learn to put a few of my best moments in the front end of the video. And I think that's something Mr. Beast was saying.
Yeah, totally.
Give him a couple little tastes of where it goes, and then start the podcast.
It's the same concept as the clips you see on TikTok or Instagram, but horizontal to get them hooked before your full video starts.
Yeah. And then it's just a matter of just doing it a lot, increasing the quality, increasing my ability to do this. Who was it? Somebody was talking about how they were so impressed by Russell Brand, my buddy Daniel, and he was saying how he's such a good talker that I was expecting to, when I heard the podcast, to him not to be a good listener. And he's such a good listener, but he didn't used to be, because I had seen some of his stuff 10 years ago, and he was almost always talking over people, which I still struggle with. But he practiced for 10 years, he just got better and better and better,
No, so for my podcast, I realized that I've worked from home with my family for 10 years. I mean, like, that's crazy. To think that, and many people are like this these days, where you can work from home, is like the human interaction is so limited. So starting my podcast, I've had to practice that. It's been an interesting ride.
Yeah. I feel like I got decent at communicating because I was a bartender and talking in social environments, but I think I thought I was better than I was. And once I started watching back, it's a whole different ballgame. Because you think then I'm just listening to it, I was like, oh no. Oh my God, I sound so stupid. Especially when I get drunk, which isn't today, but the drunker and drunker I get, the more it's obnoxious.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah, dude. What else? Sound like Theo.
Yeah, dude, what else?
What else should we talk about?
Theo Vaughn is the everyday man's Tony Robbins. He really is, man. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's gonna be on my list. I would love to get him on. Or I wonder if I invite somebody on, they're like, hey, I don't want to come on yours, but you can come on mine. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Sign me up. I'll go to New Orleans. Wait, no, he's in Nashville now, I think.
Yeah.
But
yeah, just keep. So people are like, oh, a podcast would be so easy. Oh, everyone has a podcast. Look, you're a one-man show. You have to do outreach. You have to follow up with people. You have to do scheduling, the filming, the editing, then the clips and everything else. Like, dude, it's a lot.
Yeah. That's another thing I want to ask you about. So you were saying you use an AI program for clips.
Opus.pro.
Yeah, so I've heard of that one. And then I've heard of like Munch.
Yeah.
There might be one other one.
Yeah.
But I've seen your styles from other people, so I know that that's probably like the Opus ones.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So do you upload the whole thing and then it pulls from...
Essentially. So I shoot online, so it's side-by-side Zoom.
Okay.
So I create a vertical project and stack me and the guest. And then the AI is supposed to make it so I don't have to do this, but I found that this is best practice for now. Then I stack us, upload the full version to Opus Pro, and then it'll ask you, like, do you want us to look for certain keywords?
Okay.
Things like that. Sometimes I'll enter that. It asks how long you want the clips to be, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, etc. You hit go, and it creates, from an hour podcast, sometimes 20 or 30 clips.
Oh, wow.
And then once you get each clip, you can click edit and adjust a few seconds on each side of it, and there you go. And look, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
I don't always get the clips that I want, and sometimes I have to go in and make my own clips, but I don't have the time to make 20 clips.
So then are you uploading 20 clips per podcast?
Mostly, yeah.
Because I'm only doing like 5 because I don't have the time.
Yeah,
but
mostly.
Sometimes less. But I told myself I just keep doing podcasts even if I can't do the clips every time.
Sure,
but,
totally.
One of the things so here's my hang up, and I don't know if I can work around this, but because I have the 3 camera setup, I'm bringing them all in, and so for my long form, I have to go through the podcast anyway to go back and forth between the camera setup.
Right.
And so I was like, well, if I'm already doing that, then I know where those clips are. But I guess I could still upload it and then just tell it where to go. Or maybe I'd still say, because this takes me probably 30 minutes to do one clip.
Sure.
And so if I'm timesing that by 6, I could save myself 3 hours, but I don't know, it might take a little bit of time for me to upload it, like upload it to Opus, and then, I don't know. Well, I need to try it.
It's supposed to track the speaker as well, but I just haven't had success at it. But it's supposed to be so that you could shoot like with one camera, and then it would go zoom on whatever.
Oh yeah, doing like a wide angle, and then it goes.
It's supposed to, but
yeah. There's another, there was another AI application that I could use in Premiere that was supposed to be able to go through and actually move back and forth to the speakers.
Did it work?
Not really. Yeah. And it would work really well in probably an easy interview style one, but because mine's kind of a lot of back and forth, then I would realize, well, then I have to go through and double check it, which means I'm going through it anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, I just kind of kept...
Yeah. AI is really cool. It's come a long way. It's going to be amazing, but there are issues. Yeah. Oh, you asked if I used AI for my book. What I did do is once I wrote it, before I sent it to the editor, I thought I'll save money and have AI edit it. It like created, and I said, this is nonfiction, keep all the stories accurate, I just need grammar and spell checking. Nah, man. No. I used Claude, I used ChatGPT and one other, I forget which the other one was, but it like started telling stories that didn't happen to me and like started making up facts and quotes. And when I was younger, like, nah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was.
There's so much AI video that I want to dive into, and I just saw, because Premiere just released their AI video or version. I haven't even looked at it yet. Then there's this thing called Gaussian splatting. This might be too in the weeds for anyone hearing, but like you circle around a subject, then it like pulls it. It looks like all their DNA like pops out, like, and you can do it with like building. It's just like really cool video effects. And you just upload it to different AI programs. And then there's this other girl, it's like visual arts or something, and so she takes a person's video and they're like, say, playing guitar, and then makes it really trippy through AI programs. So I kind of want to mess around with it. And then you can also do, if you set a camera and you're in frame, you can get rid of the grass and the tree and you can put a castle, and then you can still do stuff in frame like you were photoshopping, but for the video. I've seen some of this, I just haven't learned it yet, but yeah, it's really cool.
I had this guy on my podcast named Austin Armstrong. Yeah. He's an AI like guru. He has several awesome AI tools. One of the things he's done is he's the founder of Syllabi. One of the things he's done is he made a digital twin of himself, a deep fake. Okay. And then he'll write a script and have the deep fake do a video. These are some of his highest performing videos. Really? It's a deep fake of him.
And is he talking in the deep fake, or is this separate?
It's his voice being spoken by the deep fake. It's like 95% true to life.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah. It's nuts.
I mean, Rogan talks about this a bit, but it's just like at some point when it's so identical, then they have to figure out a ways to know what people were actually saying or not, you know.
I imagine, like the checkbox you mentioned on YouTube, like, is this made for kids or not? I imagine there's going to be a time where they'll say, is 90% of this AI or real to life? Yeah. And just like YouTube, you can cheat, but you're going to get screwed if you are deceitful. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe by that time people won't care. Maybe everything can be AI.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been wanting to get to my first level, I feel like, of success is making enough money doing any sort of video. And I have my goals for this winter. And I'm like, when I get to that point, whether it takes me those 3 months or if it takes me 6, being able to hire a second person to not only like edit some of my other work, but then do my podcast is going to be huge for me.
Do you need them local, or can you use a VA?
I think I prefer to have it local because I would like to work in-house with somebody. Also because like my file sizes are so big. I don't know how it would take so long to upload it via internet and then have them download it and then also being able to teach them, oh, this is where I want this clip, or, you know, kind of working with me. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm trying to get it down to, if I do one podcast, it takes me, what's the last time? I'm trying to get everything done in 6 hours. Awesome. So if I have 2 podcasts, I would love to move to 2 podcasts a week eventually. So then that's a 12-hour day of editing, but now I'm done. And so I can get that all done in one day. But I think I can get to about 5 hours. I'm just moving quicker and quicker and stuff. But yeah, so then if I can teach somebody to do that, then I just need to pay somebody, 10 hours a week and I can handle like setting it up or whatever.
So when people say everyone has a podcast, not everyone's willing to put in 6 hours for free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No.
Like, yeah, some people have podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm meeting more and more people that have podcasts, but
Cool.
it's because I'm in it, you know?
Yeah, sure.
But
Sure.
I don't really know I think I'm the only friend of all my friends that have a podcast.
Sure.
You know? I actually had this other girl, Mariah, she was on here and she started a podcast, but she had to pause because of restraints of having a place to do it and, you know, gear and stuff. So,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, it is a lot that goes into it.
I'm excited for you, man. It's going to be huge.
Oh, I'm excited too. What do you think that, realistically, because I was telling myself this I'm like, do you think I'm going to be like, I think I'm nailing it at like 50 episodes where I'm good. I asked this other guy, he's like, yeah, about 50 is when you start really feeling like you get into your stride.
Sure.
Because I'm at 28 now, but I'm like, I probably don't think I'm going to pop off till 200 or whatever, but I want to like really hone in my skill set, like vocally, video, audio, etc.
Right.
But Alex Ramosi was saying, he's like, we didn't get into the top 10 list till 400.
Sure.
So yeah, it's tons of work.
Yeah, no, look, with our vlogging thing, we made, I don't know what the number is off the top of my head, 1,500 videos and got nowhere.
Crazy.
Got nowhere, right? So I don't know the recipe for podcasting yet.
Yeah.
But I know that there is one. Part of it is like, what's your value prop to your audience? Is it just entertainment? Is it just entertainment and education? Like, what's your niche?
Yeah.
And as you zero in on that, you can target your audience better. With mine, it's called Unlimited with Justin Evans. It's about kind of unlimiting your mind, realizing that you can do anything in relationships, in business, in any type of niche that you want to pursue. That's what it's about. It's supposed to be a place where people can go to learn from some of the greatest.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those. I'm trying to connect with those guys.
Yeah. What you said earlier, though, that is really dope about getting coaching from somebody way better by that offer. And I was thinking about that with kind of even local businesses, is inviting somebody who's successful. Like one of the dudes I like to have on is this guy named Zach Pete, and he owns Tattooed and Successful. I don't know if you've heard of that brand, but yeah, pretty big brand and locally, and I'd love to get him on. I've kind of got like a half yes once, but I'm like, it's just a matter of time, I'll try again. Yeah. But having some of these guys on, and then you get them some good content, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, like, I actually need a video guy for this.
Yes.
You know, do you do this?
Right. And they have a big building, don't they?
Yeah.
So you can take your setup and go there.
Yeah.
Make it easier for him.
That's true, actually. Yeah, I do want to do this on the go. I did it once so far. I went to Jeremy's studio. That was cool. Nice. And then probably do it when I'm going down to see my sister in Scottsdale. So yeah, it'll be cool to have it on the go.
So cool.
Yeah. I got to piss.
Fun. Enjoy.
I did realize that after some of the last couple podcasts that I did, I was like, man, I like getting drunk on podcasts, but I gotta stop getting too drunk. Like, they get so obnoxious at the end. And have you ever listened to the end of my podcast?
I've just seen clips.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But yeah, they just I'm like, dude, if I were a listener, even if I did start watching it, I'd probably just trail off after about an hour. I'd be like, all right, no.
Yeah, enough of this guy.
Yeah. But it's like, I gotta find that balance, I think.
Sure.
I don't know. I do wanna, damn it. I wanna show you this track. Speaking of Fires of France, even though it's not Fires of France, but, so this is the one that me and my buddy Ryan are doing. Mm-hmm. And we only have like the chorus and as a cover. I've been wanting to do a cover of this for so long.
Let's see.
And then he starts flowing.
Dude.
Dude, this could be good. It just kind of trails off, but we put this flow together, and he's so good at beats. And then recorded that hook a couple times, and and so we kind of have like this structure where the song's going, but we just got to spend another
Sure.
couple nights doing it. But
So good, man.
yeah, man,
excited.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
But if we do something like that, then yeah, we'll have to make some videos.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
No. We should get some lunch after this.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really. Do you want to talk about anything else?
I think we covered a lot, man.
Let me think. The one thing I was going to ask you was, when you hated your job, was it the same one that I worked at?
That's not the one I was referring to
Oh, okay.
now, but that was an interesting time.
Yeah,
For sure.
It was a very weird time for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so strange. Time is a trip because it feels like a lifetime ago. And I mean, I don't really stay in contact with that company or any from there anymore. And then when I went full-time music for a while, it was just like a party house, and did that for a while. And then just been bartending for ages. But there's so many people. Not so many, but there's definitely a few people all from that time period that have like, come back in my life.
Yeah.
You know, like kicking it with Jeremy, Brock, you, me and my buddy Joe, who he played in a band called Sea of Glass at the time, and we would play shows together.
Fun.
And we just stayed friends like the entire time, you know.
Amazing.
And then been kicking it with this other guy. His name's Daniel. And he is the brother of this kid I knew 10 or 12 years ago.
No way.
I never met him, and then started kicking it with him. Yeah, it's very strange how people like come back.
I had that this week. 2 friends from, I don't know, man, 2005, 2006-ish, showed up. They're like, hey, how you doing, man? It's been a while. It's like, weird.
Yeah.
Then these people don't really know each other, but they appeared.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Yeah. I know that I don't want to say I'm like amazing, but I know that I'm good at investing in friendships and building relationships, and I'm still getting better and better, but I do my best to, you know, the people that are really close to me, like to reach out every couple weeks if I haven't, and just so cultivate like a closer and closer relationship. So I know I'm good at that, but I never felt like I was good at networking.
Right.
And after this last weekend or the last couple weekends, I realized the power of like putting yourself in the right environments to meet people that are like either above you, like you're saying, like reaching out for podcasting or but I'm like, my skill set is, I mean, it's not there, like you never arrive, but it's getting better. It's like getting better. But now it's just like, you got to know the right people. And
if we become the sum of the 3 or 5 people that we spend the most time with, who do you want to become?
Well,
You know? And maybe you're spending a lot of time with, or we are spending a lot of time with different types of people or different individuals, but what type of person are they? Are they who I want to become? Are they who I want to, you know, end up like?
Yeah.
If the answer is no, then make some changes.
Yeah, for sure.
That's real. And it sounds childish, but it's just, it's math.
It is. We were just talking about that, like coming up. So just like, dude, it doesn't matter how hard you like try to work and be successful or be better. If you're hanging out with 5 other people that just like are down here, that they don't give a fuck, or they're just whatever. I was my buddy Ben. He's a excellent tattoo artist, and he's been cold soaking here sometimes. So came over and we were just talking about that. I was like, and it's funny because you know this principle like in theory, but then sometimes you'll notice yourself not abiding by that principle, you know,
totally.
Or you're like, man, I am kicking it way too much with like, what value am I getting over here, you know? And as much as you want to provide value, you also have to be built up by other,
Indeed.
you know, so.
You have a cold plunge?
I do.
That's cool. I recently have done it 3 times in the river. Dude.
How was it?
It was cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was real cold.
It's gonna get worse.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
I love and hate it. You know? So it's like, it's so hard to get in.
Right.
Once I get in, I can normally stay for a couple minutes, and that took a while. But then once you get out, you're just like, oh, I feels so good.
For like 4 hours. It felt incredible.
Yeah. I got lucky because my friend Todd, when I was still at the bar and I was really wanting to get into it, he was like, I'm just going to buy a $500 freezer and then seal it up. And then he's like, oh, I have an extra freezer you can just have. And he's like, I brewed beer in it, so it has a temperature gauge and everything.
No way.
So mine was like, came sealed, has a temperature gauge.
No way.
I just keep it at 40 degrees. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, and I just drain it once. Well, it doesn't even get that dirty because it's cold, so drain it once a month and refill it.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you're welcome to try it sometime.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Are you still doing keto and stuff?
No, I need to get back on it, obviously, but no. I had so much success with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I definitely eat low carb still, but I don't track my macros like I.
Yeah, I used to be way more into it too, but now I just kind of float. Sometimes I get better, and then sometimes I,
Right.
But yeah, you had a lot of those videos.
I did.
That's when I first started seeing your TikToks, I think.
Yeah. I had massive success with it. There's no excuse. I could tell a reason why I don't track them. But when I track my macros, like, dude, everything changes dramatically.
Yeah.
I didn't get on that.
I struggle with macros because I've done it before, but I feel like that becomes like a full-time gig.
Yeah.
It's like
all that job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's just not on the forefront of my mind right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I avoid bread, pasta, rice, and focus on lean meats, I'm solid.
Yeah. I found, ideally, this is what I want to do with my eating schedule is I want to shift to 2 meals a day and do the first meal, like no carbs, and then the second meal just like load up. Because I struggle, if I go down to 2 meals a day, I'll lose weight, but I don't need to lose weight.
Sure.
So, but I think it's Andrew Tate who got me on this principle. He was just like, I survive on coffee and nicotine, and he's like I like to operate hungry, and he's like if I eat I get sluggish. So he's just like I drink coffee and nicotine all day, and then I eat at dinner, and then I'm done.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, I want to try this, and then
Have you done it?
Yeah, well, I've done it to 2 meals a day, so I'm like I'm like, how do you get enough calories?
Sure.
I counted it out. It's like 3,700 I need to like stay even, or 35.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I can do that one meal. So
Sure.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, if I can eat in like 6-hour window or something.
Sure. Yeah. That's awesome.
I don't know, but I did start doing nicotine just because I wanted to try it.
Yeah.
So I get the nicotine gum.
Yeah.
And it just gives you that little like buzz. Yeah. And I can barely keep it in my mouth. I have like 5 seconds. I gotta take it out.
Oh, funny.
Because it's like, I don't know. I'm just a pussy. Just has this like burn in your throat or something.
Sure.
Yesterday I smoked a cigar with my buddy, and I forget how much like they make me really sick.
Yeah, like nauseous.
Yeah, and I was super hungover from that bender, and I smoked about half the cigar, and when I was driving back home, I just started getting super queasy, and like got here just laid on the floor. I was like,
I'm dying.
Yeah, it was not good.
That's funny.
But cigars are fun, but
sure.
Yeah. Anyway, let's wrap this up if you want.
Josh, I appreciate you, man. I'm super excited for you.
Yeah. Plug your
podcast Unlimited with Justin Evans. The reason it's called that is Unlimited is the premise. My parents came up with the Justin part, and my grandparents came up with the Evans part.
Oh, that's nice.
So,
you guys all have like a collaborative effort.
I guess so. Yeah, and Instagram, TikTok, _Justin Evans.
Dude, I'm excited for you, man.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
You're a very determined dude.
I am.
I'm happy to know you.
Dude, make me cry. Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Let's get weird.
Okay. That works. Peace. Rat-a-tat, as they say. Rat-a-tat. They don't say that. It's just me.
Nobodies.